Hello, hello. Janae here from your Mesa Center. I hosted yesterday, so today is September 30th, 2020, and I hosted yesterday a holistic planning workshop. And I had great responses, great interaction during that workshop, but I know many of you were still interested in it and weren't able to make it. And so I'm going to record here a little bit of information and share with you more about holistic planning and what it's all about. So remember, this is just your one way of introducing, practicing, repetition, working through materials. We're never here to overwhelm. We're always here to excite. So you're welcome to watch this video. Big reminder, you don't have to do this journey alone. There are lots of people at our school, at other universities, other schools, other professions. So many people here to help you. So Mesa's here for you, and let's dive in to holistic planning. All right, let's share my screen, and thank you for working through my Zoom technology. So remember your Mesa Canvas page, everything is here, is free. There's a lot of information on here, but remember you can poke around and check things out. If you go to pages on our Mesa, you can also use it on our left side. You're gonna see many information, articles, and things that you can read. We're gonna go ahead and go to holistic academic planning. That may be in a different location on your side, so you can change it, the results by changing by page title, creation date, etc. So just look for holistic academic planning. Visiting here, this is a very long sheet. There's a lot of information on here. I actually got all of this information from a fellow Mesa director from the Edmonds Community College Mesa program. And that Mesa director was an admission advisor to the University of Washington, Seattle. So she worked with a lot of students who are applying for the University of Washington, which is a very challenging and competitive application, especially for transfer students. I'm not gonna lie, it's a 50% or less chance for students going to University of Washington. So a lot of this information seems extensive if you're not planning on going to, if you're looking at another school that is not as competitive. This information is important for your professional life. This information is important when you're looking at job applications, when you are applying to university, when you're applying to graduate school, when you're applying for an internship. So anything that you want to do and apply for and further your experiences, your professionalness, all of this planning will benefit you. So it seems extensive. You can read it on your own time, but I am going to point out a few things that are of interest. So what are we talking about when we talk about holistic applications, when we talk about holistic planning? It's like this idea that university admissions, careers, job interviewees, they will always see, who are you? What have you done so far, and where are you going? How well defined are your plans? How well defined are you? Why are you going where you're going? How are you going to better this position or this university or this internship opportunity or this research experience? So who are you? How are you going to help them? And how will you be a good fit for this? So the idea of the holistic application, just like holistic health, where the idea that the mind and the body are all connected in the holistic area, a holistic academic application or holistic planning is all about who are you. And there are two main components. There's the academic component. So that's your GPA, the grades you've taken, the schools you've gone to, anything post your high school diploma or your GED especially, any grade trends, the courses you've taken, your rigor of courses. And we will talk every quarter in Mesa. You're always welcome, and we highly encourage you to see academic advisors and see if your degree plan is the best that it can be. So I'll go over a little bit about what degree plans mean. Many of you are getting an Associates of Arts or an Associate Science transfer. Yes, those titles seem confusing, but they are important, especially if you're looking at transferring in the STEM fields. So anything in engineering, anything in life science, physical science, mathematics, etc. So a university or an employer will look at your academic profile. They'll look that you have academic goals, and that's not just like get through school to get an associate's. What are your goals? I want a bachelor's in chemistry so I can do wet lab research. I want a master's in life science so that I can do neurobiology research. And are you taking any steps to achieve these academic goals? We all start somewhere. Everyone knows that. But acknowledging where you are currently, and no matter how young you are, no matter how old you are, no matter what you think experience you're lacking or have, you'll want to take steps to achieve those and then have a well thought out plan of where you're going from there. You'll want experience in your intended field as much as possible. That include anything, work experience, internships, leadership, volunteering, research. You'll see in some sheets that these are called competitive component activities. So I'll show you where you can place those. Any work experience, if you work in customer service, if you work for Uber, if you work bookkeeping, if you work daycare, if you work a dog walker, if you work a work study position, all of those tasks, all of the components, the abilities, the tasks that your employer is putting on you, write down those tasks, and those are experiences you're getting with. Are you multitasking? Do you work alone? So are you expected to complete deadlines under, for this 4 hours, you're expected to complete deadlines. What computer programs do you use? Any Excel, Microsoft Access, Google Drive, any sort of cloud, any sort of computer programs you may be using, that can add experience. So it doesn't have to be, so for instance, if you're going to become a doctor, it doesn't have to be shadowing a doctor. Is there any healthcare shadowing you can do, or volunteering, or even just working with people who are in a patient or people setting? Like the Parks Department, I know Spokane Parks Department, every summer, they're looking for volunteers with their adults with developmental disabilities. They're always looking for volunteers. Yes, it's not quite a doctor, but you're still working with people in a community setting. You can consider anyone a patient. So what are you doing beyond just classes? What steps? Is it sort of aligned in a similar way, or can you voice it, explain it in a similar way, in a focused way that's going towards your goals? So we have our academic profile, and then also our personal profile. Especially competitive applications, employers, they want to know who you are and why are you applying for this. What have you overcame? Where have you shown resilience? Where have you shown passion? Where have you shown adaptation? Working to overcome any hardships. You may say, I don't want to write about my sob story. I have drug abuse problems in the past. I had a rough childhood, first generation college student. I know we hate to bring those up, but if you're comfortable with it, any piece you can open up in writing or speaking, however the interview or the application is, anything that you can open up about, but being specific, and how it has created you, how you've grown from it, how that has changed your outlook on life. That will be remembered by the reviewers and the readers. That will be remembered, and that will get you further along in the application process. So what have you overcome? Yeah, it's not a sob story. All of us have backgrounds. All of us have things that we've overcome. What have you learned from that? So be specific. Yeah, just sharing what you're comfortable with sharing, being specific. Have you overcome any barriers? And I know that many people sort of sway away from these labels, but I'm going to be honest, in higher education, with a lot of funding, a big push for this equity and this drive for including all voices and including all members of our world, these key words of being a student of color, being an underrepresented student, so that's a student of color, a female, first generation college student. Identify yourself. I know, again, it seems sort of weird. You'll want to identify yourself. If you're low income, if you're previously in the foster care system or a ward of the court, if you were ever homeless, if you grew up with a lot of siblings and you had to share, those are components that if you say, this is what shaped me, this is why I do this is who shaped me, who I am. Again, that emotional component, that, oh, this person's specific, they're going to grow up and, they have these plans and they're going to become a doctor or an engineer, they're going to build bridges, they're going to build the skyscrapers, they're going to find the next time travel, et cetera, et cetera. That will be remembered, and reviewers love that. That's what they mean by it says, what shapes you and what plans do you have? There is a book, it's called Write Your Way In, W-R-I-T-E, Write Your Way In. There's a copy of it in the Mesa Center. It's by Rachel Torr, and she is a Eastern Washington University admissions officer. It's amazing, this idea of write your way in. An Eastern admissions officer, it's a published book, so it's all over, but it's from Eastern, and she is fantastic. It's a really short read. I want to say it's like 60 pages. It's a really short read, but it's very, very good at writing, how to write these personal statements, whether for school or for a job. So it's how do I not make it a sob story, and how do I just share about my experiences, even if I don't have necessarily any hardships. If my biggest hardship that I can think of is I was bullied as a little kid, or my dog died and it really impacted me, even if it doesn't seem like you've overcome something, if you're here today and you're grooving and you're shaking, you've overcome things. So I do suggest Write Your Way In, W-R-I-T-E, Write Your Way In. We do have a copy of it. Let me know if you would like a copy of it, but I highly recommend it for personal statements, or if you're looking at applying to a really rigorous opportunity. In addition to personal profile, how do you have cultural awareness, especially in this age of 2020? I mean, it's sad that we had to wait 2020 to start talking about equity and social justice and cultural awareness. But the way that you have experienced the world and the way that you have viewed the world isn't necessarily the same way that everyone else. It's not the way it is for everyone. There is institutional challenges, underrepresentation, marginalization, and even racism in every platform we talk about, even society. So being culturally aware, being aware if you are a white Caucasian person, being aware of your privileges, just talking about cultural awareness, understanding that we are a very dynamic, fluid, worldly area that we all need to come together. And especially if you're going into the STEM fields, you're gonna know and work with people of all cultures. And so just having an awareness, ability to talk about it is something that reviewers are very often looking for. Individual perspective and values, and any leadership experience. So again, anything you have, any job position, a babysitter, you are a parent, a single parent, and you're taking your kids to school, and then you come to school and you have to time frame everything and everybody's busy schedule. That's leadership, that's working through areas. So you're gonna wanna think about your classes that you're taking, and then any personal components that you go over. So I don't mean to make you dizzy, but I'm gonna scroll back up to the top of this page. And this link here, I'll go ahead and open it up, this Holistic Academic Plan worksheet. I'll also give you a hint, if you come into the Mesa Center and we have our physical planners, this sheet and everything else on this Word document is printed off in those planners. So if you're a paper kind of person, we also have paper planners in the Mesa Center. Contact me if you want me to mail you anything, but this information is in those planners. So you can go ahead and read. This is sort of the same information. Here's another table about the academic profile versus personal profile. But I'm going to scroll down to our calendar, or I guess our plan. So this is again laid out in those personal the paper planners. You can also print this off and get this from Canvas. So you can write down the quarter, the classes you're taking, and any competitive component activities you're doing. So quarter one, I am taking math, physics, chemistry. That's a tough quarter, but let's just say you're taking that. Competitive component activities. I am going to watch 2 online virtual events about networking. That's your competitive activity. Make sure you write down notes from those activities. If it's anything that you earn a certificate from, if it's anything, a seminar that you're looking to boost up a resume or an application, put those down. I know that especially in the time of COVID, many schools, many organizations, like professional organizations, are hosting free seminars and free classes and free certificates all online. We're all sitting around. So what can you do, and be specific about what competitive component activities that you can do. I'm going to attend 2 workshops. I'm going to practice talking with Janae about why I'm taking the classes I'm taking. So making a plan each quarter and evaluating each quarter how you're getting where you're getting. I'm going to scroll back up a little bit. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. So I have a really strong suggested timeline for your quarters. If you're a Mesa Scholar or not, I have strong suggested. Typically, when you talk to a community college student, they're here for 2 years, which is 6 quarters. Again, this is flexible, give or take. But I always ask my MESA scholars, the first quarter you're a MESA scholar, so this could be your 10th quarter of college, this could be the first quarter of college. We do have Canvas modules and quizzes. Those help you lay out who am I, where am I going, what plans do I have for my world. They're not graded. It's just called quiz because it's off Canvas. But I do ask all of our MESA scholars to complete our 4 Canvas quizzes. These ask about goal setting, they ask about career exploration, and start making a holistic academic plan. So start planning out your classes and then those competitive components that you're doing. Second quarter, stay on track with quarter 1, adapt as needed, adapt. Start exploring experiences. What job titles are you interested in? And let's see if we can start talking to those individuals. So if you want to be a physicist, tell Janae and I'll make a physicist speech. Or, I'll find a speaker who's a physicist and talking about the day-to-day of how they got where they are. Start looking online for free seminars. And again, if there is a workshop or a conference or a seminar that costs money, MESA can help fund it. So contact your director and MESA can help with any conference fees that may be, or if you just want additional components. So start personal exploring, not just, you don't have to be stuck in, I want to be a doctor or I want to be, a nuclear physicist. You don't have to be stuck. Just start exploring what career titles, what major titles, like the titles, what university do I want to go to, and just start planning. Remember, you can always adapt, but you got to make your own tread. You got to make your own trail. Any quarter that's coming up to a summer. Summer is an excellent time to start practicing those career or competitive components. What summer volunteer are you going to do? What is your summer job? A lot of paid research internships or anything with the Washington State Department of Transportation, the Idaho Department of Transportation, if you have some, if you have the ability to go over to Coeur d'Alene or Idaho, National Wildlife Service. Government jobs typically start posting summer internships the previous December and or January. Check Canvas. I try to post as much as I can, but again, it's just me searching for internships, research opportunities. So start looking, it's early, but start looking December, January, February. If you really want one of those paid internships, research opportunities. If you have the ability to travel during the summer, often universities, I'm not so sure how COVID's going to work, but often universities like University of Washington, Michigan State University, the University of California systems, they will have paid internships, research opportunities on their physical campuses, and they'll give you a housing stipend, they give you a small cost, you just have to get yourself there. So if you have that opportunity to go live in a UW dorm for a while, again, all costs are paid for, food's paid for, just the travel of getting over there. Start looking at their universities. A lot of research experience undergraduate, REUs, start looking at those, and again, I'll post those, but start looking. You want to redefine, keep working on things 3 quarters before you plan on graduating from SFCC. So if you want to transfer, you want to earn your associates, you want to submit an SFCC graduation application, you can do that on our homepage, SpokaneFalls.edu, and then student forms A to Z. Fill out a graduation application that's done through our admissions. That's just to ensure that what you see for your credits is the same as what the school sees for your credits. And that can just give you any prep that you may need in case you need a course or in case something won't count. Just make sure you fill out the graduation application 3 quarters before you plan to graduate. These are just ideas on a quarter-to-quarter basis of how you can plan. I also have more details and bullets. So your first year, start talking to older students about their experiences, attend career and internship fairs. All of these can be hosted by MESA, but you're welcome to do things on your own. Talk to your director if you need advice, talk to your professors if you need advice. Think about any positions, any jobs you want to do, anything that you want to work on. You can do this. So again, this paper is, I'm going to go back to Canvas. This paper is our Holistic Academic Plan worksheet. It's also in those hard copy planners. You can get to this page by going to Pages and View All Pages. I'm going to scroll down a little bit, so I'm sorry if I make you a little dizzy, so don't Don't worry too much. You can read through all of this. I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm so excited. Why does this matter, especially in competitive programs? I would say Gonzaga and WSU are slightly competitive. You'll want to be very specific to why do you want that university, or let's say you're applying to an internship or a job. I've always wanted to work as a physicist. I've always wanted to go to WSU. That's not going to cut it. Everybody wants to go to WSU. Everybody wants to work for that NASA scholarship or that NASA internship. Why you? What steps, specific steps? I attended 3 seminars the fall of 2020, all about women at NASA. I went to every career fair or every event that MESA hosted, and these events are list. Be passionate and be real. Again, that book by Rachel Tor, Write Your Way In. I feel like I learned a lot. I've never been an admissions advisor, but I work with admissions advisors. But even that book like changed how personal statements are written, how someone reviews you on a piece of paper. They don't know anything if you don't tell them. Reviewers only know what you tell them. They can't read your mind. Be specific, address anything you might think is a red flag, any gaps in school, any gaps in experience. If you went to go raise some children, if you traveled abroad, if you had some mental health components, that is life. What did you learn from it? How are you moving forward? So you want to take, what are you doing at SFCC and personally? How is this experience going to lead? So what has led you to here, and where are you going to go forward? How are you preparing? Why that transfer school or that major or that job? Again, what is your plan? I did an associate in science transfer for physical science, and I took these classes, and I met with an advisor every quarter. Something MESA can help you. What are you going to do with that education at Gonzaga? What are you going to do with that experience with NASA or a job shadowing? Why is that going to be meaningful to you, and how are you going to help the world and better the world from that? There is a slew of information all about holistic development. I recommend laying out quarter by quarter and being specific, meeting your goals, and then at the end of every quarter also see, like, where did I get overwhelmed? Where did I, falter step? Oh, I didn't quite get the grades I wanted. Why is that? What was it a rough, family happening? Was it seasonal depression? Believe me, I understand that. Was it I just was, my job, my time commitments, I wasn't very good physical health? It's okay. Learn from it. Nothing is a failure. Everything is either a success or a learning moment. The last thing I'm just going to share with you really quick, this is created in fall of 2020. I'm going to go to modules. Fall 2020 important dates. I really want to highlight, so I'm scrolling down so I can make you dizzy. So I really want to highlight some very cool events that are coming up. November 9th and November 10th, so that will be in the evening. There we are. So November 9th, November 10th, and then if it's popular, I was thinking of doing it again on Thursday. We're having our transfer planning event. So this is the Monday of November 9th, Tuesday, November 10th, and Thursday, November 12th. We don't have school on November 11th. Thank you, veterans. We are having a whole evening on Zoom dedicated to this holistic planning, this transfer planning, and signing up for winter classes. So registration for winter classes, winter quarter classes at SFCC begins the week before this. So registration begins the first week of November. Again, the evenings of November 9th, November 10th, and November 12th. And again, this is all on here. Will be a time we'll have advisors on Zoom talking to you. We're working together. Our first priority is getting you signed up for winter quarter classes. Our second priority is helping you make your holistic plans. So that spreadsheet, we're going to have you each work out, okay, next quarter I'm taking this class, here are my goals. Spring quarter, I'm taking these classes, here are my goals. Summer, here are my goals. We'll also be talking about transferring. So we're going to help you figure out university application deadlines. When should I apply? How do I apply? We're going to all work together on creating your plans forward. Yes, this can all be changed, but the big nights that we're going to be planning these, again, they will be on Zoom, is November 9th, November 10th, and November 12th. So you can see them right here, transfer planning event starting November 9th. Pick one, pick all. I'm really excited for these, and I hope a lot of people attend, because that's when, again, first priority is signing up for winter classes. You want to do that early, especially if we're going to be hybrid, because science classes may only have 12 people in them. You want to do it early. It's always easier to drop a class than it is to find one in January. So remember, winter quarter starts January 2021. But we also want you to start planning, when am I transferring? Where am I transferring? Why am I going there? If you're looking at going to Gonzaga, WSU, University of Washington, out of state, your application may be due the end of January 21, even if you're attending fall 2021. So we want to start filling out applications early. I often push students to use their winter break to start planning out their transfer areas. And if you're going to Eastern, if you're planning on going to any of those schools, we'll help you figure out the deadlines for transferring, making out your career competitive components, your 3-year plan. It's going to be amazing. Again, I'll scroll up just a smidgen. Oh, I'm going to scroll down just a smidgen. So this is on Canvas. We do have hard copies in the Mesa Center. If you want me to send it to you, you can always contact me. Start filling these out. What degree plan do you have? Why do you have it? Potential transfer schools. If you're like, I want to go to Eastern, or I want to go to University of Hawaii. List those here. And then let's start planning out your quarters. And you don't need to do this alone. But we want you to be most effective as you can. We want you to get it. So that's sort of my really fast, badly made review of holistic planning. There is so much information I can talk about this. It's really helpful if we sit down one-on-one and talk about it. So making sure you go to Pages, Holistic Planning, all that information is there. If you go to your modules and you scroll down, look, I put things here, always reading. Here's where those modules are. You can start breaking out your career planning, your goal setting, and then there's those quizzes. Again, they have no impact on your grades. It's just called a quiz because that's how Canvas calls it. Your director, me, Janae, is the only person that sees your responses here. So let's work together. You'll notice I do have a suggested deadline of October 16th. If you complete these by October 16th, you're considered a very active Mesa Scholar. You get first priority for textbook scholarships, for anything that costs money. So if you're really interested in attending a virtual conference or even a conference in person and you need someone to pick up a bill, Mesa can do that only if you're an active Mesa Scholar. Okay, I'm very excited about this. As you can tell, lots and lots of things on Canvas, but thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Reach out anytime. And again, my office is located in the Math Learning Center, Building 18, second floor. So I'm Janae, and thank you for being you.